wapate mapato.
All right, Davis, I hear you, but let's strictly focus on the cost of living, and especially, Kwame, if you talk about VAT on fuel. And there has been arguments that have been given. The president says that there has been people that have been manipulating the system. You need to iron out all the differences so that you're able to properly manage it. And also, we know the cost of production highly depends on the cost of power, cost of energy. So what does this do? And what is this pressure that the government would be at such a time to the extent that they have to yield to raise it to 16%?
Okay, let's start with, I think, some facts that have been stated by Nili Nyoro. He said that petroleum is imported. We don't have local sources of petroleum. It is a product that is bought at the international market and bought with Kenya, rather in dollars. So if you look at the trouble, whether it's the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the troubles generally globally, the price, okay, they're coming down now, but the prices had started to go up. And then we had a subsidy last year, again, which was a bad policy mistake. And so we are at the point where every time the government subsidizes, it actually has more money that it needs to spend. And the one thing that is also a problem with petroleum in Kenya is government tells you it's subsidizing, but there are almost 5-6 lines of taxes instead of reducing those taxes.
Right.
So you have the excise. I mean, you have all those levies related to fuel. Now, what we have today is, it's true. If you raise the price, VAT, rate of VAT on fuel per litre from 80% to 16%, we expect that if that happens, and of course the next time it is announced, if this part of the bill is approved, then obviously it will raise the prices. And the point is this: we have a VAT law which says that every time value is added. We need this difficult conversation in Kenya, and it requires honesty for why other things, including very essential items that people buy, should have VAT at 16% and petroleum at 8%. I know that the argument is that once you have VAT on petroleum, it's going to raise prices. There's a knock-on effect on everything else, but that's true for everything else. So our view is, yes, there's a big distortion when you have fuel at 8% on VAT and others at 16%. And what it's telling us is that the VAT at 16% perhaps is too high for everything else. So the standard rate for VAT, there's nothing in our textbook or and we've cited holy books, and this was a prayer day, so let me say, there's nothing in the Bible that says that VAT, or any other religious book, that says that VAT must only be 16%. But I think it is not good policy to distort policy by saying, remember, liquefied petroleum gas, which is LPG, will be at 0. All those things that come from fuel, whether it's kerosene and all those things, they come from the same refinery process. So they come from one refinery process, and then you're charging one at 0 and the others at 8 and 16. You're actually creating a market distortion, which needs to be leveled. It is also not true that I think poorer people and lower income households will bear a cost, but most of the fuel are actually absorbed by private vehicles. So when you're subsidizing fuel or keeping the VAT low, thinking that you are helping poorer households, actually most of the value is appropriated by high-income people and people who own private vehicles.
Right.
So here is a problem again in which I think the policy, in my view, in terms of equating the rate of VAT and bringing it to a standard level is correct, but I think 16% is too high.
Okay.
So yes, and that's a difficult one.
Okay, I hear you.